Hello, good evening. I do thank you for tuning in to Poem Praise 2. I certainly hope that you had a peaceful and blessed afternoon. And now that it's evening, I did let you know that our next extraordinary African American is Scott Joplin, which was a composer and a pianist. The time period is 1868 to 1917, and it reads as such. Now, in the years following the Civil War, scores of African American musicians traveled throughout the country, playing in churches and saloons and trying to earn enough money to eat. Building in old African rhythms, they developed new musical forms that were uniquely American. One of these musicians, Scott Joplin, became the leading composer of ragtime. Now, born in Texarkana, Texas in 1868, Joplin grew up playing piano in houses where his mother Florence worked as a maid. Word of his exceptional talent soon spread throughout the community, and a German music teacher offered to give young Joplin formal training. Now, within a short time, Joplin was playing in churches as well as for social events. Shortly after his mother died, he left home to become a professional musician. Now, as he traveled across the country, Joplin was attracted to ragtime, a rapidly growing form of African American music that had evolved from the old slave songs. Drawing on African tradition, ragtime combined a syncopated or varied rhythm pattern with the melody. This technique, known as ragging the melody, was especially popular in dance music. Dancers were often called rags. In 1895, Joplin moved to St. Louis and got a job playing piano at Pianist, John Turpin's Silver Dollar Saloon. Several years later, he settled in Catalina, Missouri, where he began to study and write music. Now, during the day, Joplin took courses in music theory at George R. Smith College. At night, he played piano in the Maple Leaf Club. In 1899, Scott published Original Rags, a beautiful crafted work. Later, he took another piece, Maple Leaf Rag, named for the club where he worked, to two publishers. Yeah, two of them. Now, they both rejected it. Both made a big mistake. A music dealer named John Stark heard the piece and printed it. Within a few months, Maple Leaf Rag had sold more than 600,000 copies. Considered by many to be the best rag ever written, it became the first piece of sheet music to sell more than 1 million copies. Its publication brought worldwide demand for ragtime music, which thrived until the end of World War I. The publication of Maple Leaf Rag brought Joplin financial security. It allowed him to quit playing in saloons and concentrate on teaching and writing music. Although none of his later work had the financial success of Maple Leaf Rag, it was all of excellent quality. But Joplin wasn't satisfied with putting ragtime on the musical map. He wanted to write opera. His first attempt, The Guest of Honor, closed after only a few performances, but it was a work called Tremonisha, written partly in tribute to his mother. That meant the most to him. Joplin was determined to see Treemonisha performed on stage. Unable to find backers, he decided to produce it himself. But his efforts were in vain. The audience didn't understand or appreciate the opera, and it was closed. Joplin was devastated. In 1916, Joplin was committed to Manhattan State Hospital, where he died the following April. At the time of his death, ragtime was fading in popularity. Young people thought it was old-fashioned and were now more interested in jazz. But Joplin's music was too good to be forgotten. In the 1970s, Joplin's rag, The Entertainer, was chosen as a theme for the Academy Award-winning movie The Sting, and his opera, Treemonisha, was dusted off and finally produced on Broadway, where it became a hit. So I guess he was a little bit before his time with that one, right? Because certainly became a hit. It was a fitting tribute to the man music experts call the king of ragtime. Well, I certainly do thank you for your attention and for listening in on Scott Joplin, the composer and pianist during the time period of 1868 to 1917. Now, next on our list of extraordinary African Americans is going to be George Washington Williams, an historian, lawyer, and a soldier during the time period of 1849 to 1891. So, later, and if it be in thy will, I'll certainly be speaking again with you soon. All right. Later, y'all.